In the vast sea of hack-and-slash games, few titles are as legendary as the Musou series. They embody what video games used to be, something easy to pick up and just play for hours and hours on end. Among its numerous titles, the Warriors Orochi series stands tall as a titan of the genre. They combine the best elements of the Dynasty Warriors and Samurai Warriors franchises, and they deliver us an unparalleled experience that really separates itself from the endless retelling of the Three Kingdoms and Sengoku period of the main series. In 2022, we finally got an PC port for Warriors Orochi 3. It came with enhanced graphic options and over 500 DLCs included, which makes it truly worthy of the name Ultimate Definitive Edition. After playing newer and older Musou games, plus a bunch of spin-offs, I can say that Warriors Orochi 3 is my favorite game in the genre. And here is why. The plot picks up from the end of Orochi 2, where the warriors of the Three Kingdoms era and the Sengoku period have begun to rebuild their lives in the twisted dimensional world after Orochi's death. But just when everything seemed to be going well, an 8-headed serpent known as the Hydra appears. It's wreaking havoc upon the land and killing most of the warriors. That's where the journey starts. The remaining 3 heroes, Machao, Sima Zhao and Hanbei Takenaka lead an attack against the Hydra and the demon army, but are hopelessly overpowered by them and are about to be defeated when Kaguya appears. She sends them back in time to give them a chance to save their allies and come up with a strategy to kill the beast, which involves building a special weapon. Without giving too much spoilers, fragments of Orochi come back and we have to fight him again in several epic battles. What's new in the Ultimate Edition is that we finally get the background info on how Orochi came into being. Plus it prolongs the original story by several chapters, where a new thread awakens. To be honest, I'm never that invested in the stories of Musou titles. For me it's all about the gameplay. But I have to say that the story was actually engaging and interesting, especially compared to the countless retelling of the main series. But it's also more engaging than Warriors Orochi 4, where you always felt toyed with and everyone constantly switched sides. In Orochi 3 you have a really focused villain arc, which makes it a much more digestible experience. While Musou games are often associated with frantic button mashing, Warriors Orochi 3 introduces strategic depth to the formula. Characters are divided into 4 types: power, wonder, technique and speed. Each one comes with their own strength and weaknesses. The power type, for example, comes with hyper armor, which allows you to just mow through enemies without worrying about knockbacks. And the wonder type has a built-in dash that lets you cancel animations, which leads to a better combat flow. But not only that, having the right teammate can make a huge difference in the playstyle of your other characters, especially once their proficiency reached a higher rank. Take Liu Bei for example. He gives you the thrift skill, which reduces the whole group's Musou cost. This will become very handy if you have certain builds in mind that spam Musous or special attacks. Or take Zhang Fei's stamina skill that heals all team members for every 100 KOs. Taking advantage of those skills will be increasingly important on higher difficulties, and it allows for a vast variety of setups. Another amazing exclusive feature to the Orochi series are the switch combos. They allow you to change your characters in the middle of your combo strings. What is cool is that you can switch both ways. You can keep going into one direction using all 3 characters, or you can go back and forth between only 2. And if you go to the move details of an officer, you can see different groups of characters. If you didn't know, those are the characters you can put on your team to perform a triple rush attack. If you switch your character during a charge attack and then switch it a second time, you will perform that unique attack. And even when you are using the same group, the triple rush attack changes depending on which character you start with. which puts even more variety and style in the combat flow. On top of all that madness, you can perform a true triple attack once the blue bar is filled, which can be performed on foot or horse, fulfilling the role of a real finishing move. And that's not all. Their unique mechanics just don't stop. For example, have you ever wished not being alone on the battlefield and having your favorite officers as your backup? Orochi 3 gives you that. With a press of a button, you can summon your allies to your side. And if all of them have a full Musou gauge, you can perform another unique attack, called True Musou Burst. To be honest, I could go on and on about the unique mechanics of this game. Their combat feels just so smooth and fluent. You know, one problem with Musou titles is the transition between combo strings. This game definitely nailed that. You can pull off nearly endless combos and are really only limited by the enemy's health bars. One of the most appealing aspects of any Musou game is its character roster. And Warriors Orochi 3 surpasses expectations in this regard, drawing from both the Dynasty Warriors and Samurai Warriors universes, as well as introducing characters from other Koei Tecmo franchises, such as Ninja Gaiden and Dead or Alive. The game boasts an extensive lineup of legendary heroes. But not only do we get tons of characters, with the Ultimate Definitive Edition, we get hundreds of DLCs for the game, like a boatload of costumes. And they have to be one of the best implementations of cosmetics ever in warrior games. We get older outfits from previous games that can even be dyed to your liking. Plus the sick Dynasty Warriors hyper skins and even some funny casual wear. Besides tons of main campaign battles, side missions and alternative timeline battles, we also get a significant amount of DLCs here. And if you thought that the main campaign had lots of enemies and action, then you have seen nothing yet. I, for example, love this map, where you pretty much get constant enemy spawns that run to fight you, with loads of officers and generals. Here you can really go nuts. The next mode we got are Musou battlefields. Here you can create and upload your own maps, or download community battles, and many of them are as intense as the DLC chapters. I really wish Koei kept this feature as a baseline for every future Warriors title. Just imagine if you could upload your own scenarios in Dynasty Warriors and make officers appear at certain points with a huge army. You could create some alternative timeline maps and make some truly unique scenarios possible. This game mode also would have done wonders for Warriors Orochi 4, where the enemy count is way too small most of the time. Then we got Duel mode, where you can face off against AI or other players, which is another very unique gameplay option that might not be enjoyed by everyone, but it's still a great concept. I really wish they kept that mode in every title and improved upon it, so you could have your own minigame like Street Fighters inside Musou games. Lastly, we got the true endgame, which is Gauntlet mode. And oh man, this has to be one of the best endgame activities inside the franchise to date. If you thought the game is too easy, or you thought you conquered Chaos difficulty, then you will be met with a big surprise here. Gauntlet mode consists of multiple stages, each with its own set of challenges and objectives. And it gets increasingly harder the longer you stay on the map. It also comes with its own rewards, like new equipable items for your characters that can change the way you play them, and also the best weapons in the game. And you can take all of that back into the story mode. Another unique feature is that you will be taking 5 characters instead of 3 into the game, which leads to even more chaos. The amount of variety you can have from battle to battle is really insane in Orochi 3. You can't really compare it to any other Musou title. The only thing that's sad is that you unfortunately can't use the switch combo system that you are using in the main campaign in this mode. What we get instead are formations that bring their own benefits. One feature of Gauntlet mode that I have to mention is a legit zoom function. This is something I wish every Musou game had. It's just such a great quality of life improvement when you can see what's going on the battlefield. The only other Musou game where I saw a legit zoom function is Fate Extella Link. Warriors Orochi 3 shines with a great story, tons of main, side and DLC missions, plus a bunch of unique game modes that can give you easily hundreds of hours of fun. The variety is already great in most Musou games, but Orochi 3 exceeds expectations in this regard. The huge amount of characters, costumes and equipable items, combined with the fact that you are in a group of 3 to 5 characters at all times, means that it's incredibly hard to be done or bored with the game. I can really say that the amount of content alone makes the game worth buying, even at full price. And it's also the perfect entry title for people who are new to the franchise and want to experience what both Dynasty and Samurai Warriors has to offer in one epic package. What makes the game really special for me is the amount of characters on screen and their overall aggressiveness, both of which got reduced in more recent releases. Here the foot soldiers will actually run towards and attack you. They aren't just standing around waiting to be slaughtered. Plus they can deal some serious damage, even if your characters are max level. So the gameplay isn't just mindless button mashing. Here you really have to stay focused and use your abilities to your advantage. Yes, the game is showing its age, but it's still probably the best Musou experience you can have to date. I would give this game a 9 out of 10, and if you are a Musou or hack and slash fan, then this is definitely a must buy.